Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me on today.
Of course, Robert, this is so exciting. You know what is a funny thing that, anyway, welcome.
Thank you.
Of what I discovered after the fact is that your studio is right near our offices,
Oh, really? Where are you guys?
Lafayette and Howard Street.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
So
know. So I am literally on the block of your studio all the time.
fantastic. Okay, we're
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors. So let's get
Excellent.
into it. Let's get into the
Sure.
conversation. Robert, you have a background in dance. How did you
Mhm.
transition to fitness?
Well, I came to New York on scholarship to the Alvin Ailey School. I had a dance career, soloist at Metropolitan Ballet, danced around different companies. And when I first came to New York and I was looking for a place, looking for a way to make some quick money, I saw a sign for personal trainers. Had no idea what it was. I figured I could stretch some people, I could teach some people some dance moves,
Yeah.
and ended up starting. Then I went and I did my career in dance. I came out of that, and I got back to training more as like a temporary measure. But what started happening is people started finding out about my dance background, my specific approach to dance. By that time, I'd done a lot of spiritual work as well. And so I would find people with that long, lean aesthetic, you know.
I
Uh,
was actually going to just ask you that. I was leading into that question.
mhm.
I didn't realize it was Alvin Ailey that you came here to, you came to dance for. Was
Well,
that an,
I came on scholarship to the school. So from
okay.
London scholarship, I came on scholarship to the school for the summer. I was supposed to go back to London, but here I am
Yeah.
many.
Everything happens for a reason. So my next question for you is that you've said that your clients, I think maybe namely celebrity clients, love the dance background that you have because a
Yeah.
dancer's body is what they're looking to achieve. Can you describe the look of a dancer's body and the things that you would do in terms of both fitness and nutrition to help
Hmm.
someone achieve that look and feel?
Okay. Dancer's body is a strong, functional, long, lean, aesthetic body that moves with grace and ease, right? So when you see dancers and you see them on the street, you can tell they've danced, as well
Yes,
as,
very true, very true.
right? See them walking through New York
By the
and you're
way that
like,
they
oh,
walk, yeah.
right. And even if somebody's been out of it for a while, by the way they sit, by the way they move their hands, you can tell they've had this background.
Very
And
good
so
point.
from the physical aesthetic, the long, lean aesthetic, to the aesthetic of how you move and how you move with grace, people want that background. And so what I do is I take some of the exercises that we do for strengthening the body in dance, and that's what we do in training. Now, one of the programs we're known for is a program called the 28-Day Challenge, where we rapidly transform people's bodies in 20.
Okay. I have a
Now,
question about that. One of my questions later on as we speak was about 28-day challenge, is your signature, is what you're known for. So that's a ballet, that's a dancer based.
well, here's the story behind that. While I was dancing, before I actually got to come to Alvin Ailey, for that last summer, I was doing a dance degree in one of the top schools in London. I had a back injury, and I was told that if you don't heal from this back injury over the summer, uh, we're going to take away your scholarship. So it's like no pressure. So that summer, I went into the body conditioning studio, and I spent 6 to 8 hours every single day deconstructing movement to relearn movement patterns and build my body back up so that I could perform at a high level. What I learned during those 6 weeks and how I transformed my body in those 6 weeks, because it enabled me to come here and go to Alvin Ailey, are the basis of what I use in my 28-day challenge program. So it's not necessarily a dance program, but
Right.
strength and conditioning program based on dance principles that help you overcome injury and rapidly transform your body.
Is there sort of a nutrition component to the dancer's body? Or is there just an overall nutrition component that you recommend for all your clients?
There's definitely a nutritional component, right? For the dancer's body, what I encourage in the weight loss phase is the typical low carb, low fat diet. We also boost your metabolism with interval training and some style and specific weight training. So your metabolism's boosted. If you don't have the fast sources of energy, sugar, fats, carbs, your body burns your stored body fat and long, lean aesthetic, right? So that is much more of a sports athlete. I used to be a sprinter as well. More of a sports approach. Dancers, in terms of what they eat.
Yeah, not necessarily recommended. We don't want to be eating like a cracker and an apple. Right, right, right. Can you, Robert, will you go through the entirety of the services that you offer? I mean, maybe now that has changed a bit. You've had to pivot, but give us what you were offering prior to having to pivot and what the scope of your services are.
Okay, it's threefold. First of all, the most immediate is we built this great online class community.
I can't wait to talk about that with you.
They're just great at what they do. It's myself. I teach 3 days a week. I have four other trainers who come from either a professional dance background, boxing background, or an athletic background, and it's the 28-day challenge, but you can choose from different modalities, right? You can choose from athletic training, Pilates-based training, there's a little bit of yoga in there, boxing, all within the 28-day challenge framework, up to 9 classes a week. They can train whatever they want. And the community is awesome because at the end of each class, right, with me, we go through visualization exercises, meditation, and affirmation. And what that does, especially during what we're going through right now, COVID-19, the racial awakening that's happened, having a lot of different feelings, right? And so it provides a safe space for us to work out those feelings after we've done an intense workout and then connect with each other. So that's been great for me, for our trainers, and also for the membership, because they're just feeling like this is a place of refuge where I can work out my stress, but also deal with some very specific issues. So that's what we're doing. That's the Brace
Very
Life.
unique.
That's a live Instagram membership. Then we're doing our one-on-one training. That's not stopped online. We have a great clientele, and so my trainers are still busy. I'm still busy.
How many trainers do you have, Robert?
We have 7 trainers right now, small and tight team, right?
That's a good number. I feel like 7 is a great number.
Yeah, and so we're still getting great results. Our clients are still going through a 28-day challenge, getting great results online.
Well, I know that Holly Carter, our contributing beauty editor, Holly Carter,
yes,
contributing beauty editor, has told me repeatedly that she adores you, she loves working with you, but that she's been working with you for a while, and it's like the one thing that not the one thing, but she said that she's stuck with it. She's gotten a lot of great results, and even through the pandemic and through being, routines changing and not being able to see you, she kept saying it was sort of like it's sticking, it's working. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's been months now, right? So that's kind of amazing.
Yeah, Holly's been with us for a long time. She's just a great soul. And yeah, I mean, I'll let her tell you her results. She's had fantastic results, but it comes back to that community. And then the other thing that I do quite a bit is I've been called to do different mind, body, soul online workshops right now. So people are reaching out. They want to know how mind, body, soul move their bodies and get some kind of stress relief and connection during this time.
Well, speaking of that, you're also an ordained minister, which is incredible, and I'm assuming that you're being a minister morphed into you being a motivational speaker. Can you tell me more about that?
Okay. So I was in New York. I was here by myself from London. I've been on some kind of spiritual path. I joined this performing arts group, and they talked about spiritual issues. And so I fell in love with this group. We were all performers in New York City doing great things and would meet together, talk about life. Sometimes it'd be scripture, sometimes it would be just life experiences. And I fell in love with the group. And that turned into me volunteering for the group, which turned into leading a group. And I had no aspirations to go into ministry. At the time, I was a soloist at the Metro Opera Ballet in New York, in Lincoln Center. Had a great gig. And I remember we did a gala performance for for Channel 13. And
Oh, beautiful.
at the end of it, the audience is clapping and everything. And the only thing in my mind was getting back to my group, which kind of scared me.
Wow. That says a lot, right?
Yeah, because I was like,
It
what?
was feeding you, it was giving you something, right?
So yeah, for sure. It was giving me a lot. It was scary to make that change. I made the change thinking I was going to be a part of the performing arts ministry, but an opening happened in Harlem. So they sent me to Harlem, this English-speaking ballet dancing guy to the ministry in Harlem, which was first. But
The best. I like it.
so much. They taught me so much. It helped me learn to
All
put
the perspectives coming together. Really
it was,
crucial.
and they taught me compassion. They taught me how to meet people where they're at. And you know, my audience right now in the gym is a high audience, but you know, I still go back and I still the faith-based communities and how to connect their spirituality with their health, because it's so important, especially now with COVID-19.
Yeah. Wait, Robert, I want to talk about that a little bit. Like, can you talk more about meeting people where they're at? What does that mean?
Well, listen, it depends what situation you're in. Let's just say that when people come in, some people, already you're meeting with trainers whose bodies are in shape. You might not feel comfortable in this gym environment, and you're walking in, are these people looking at me? Do I fit here? You know, and because of a lot of what's happened in our fitness and wellness industry, people come in thinking, is this really going to work this time? Right?
Right.
And maybe they've had bad experiences. Maybe they just haven't found the thing that works for them yet. And
Yeah.
so it's not about, you know, what ballet does and dance does is give you a technique and a framework, right? And once you have that technique and framework, then you relax and you allow people to find their space within the framework. And so a lot of people have different issues when it comes to fitness and wellness. And it's really in the beginning, taking time to speak to them about where they're at, why they're making this decision right now. And one of the questions I always ask is, what does winning look like for you? Because winning,
what does winning look like for you?
because winning doesn't necessarily, I want a six pack or I want to dance body.
Yes.
Winning, I just want to have energy and wake up with vitality. I just want to feel like when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. I just want to feel a physical connection. And so finding that out first and then moving from there. And what I look for in trainers especially, and this is, you know, experience taught me this and mistakes have taught me this, is that I really look for people who have empathy. Or people
who have empathy.
Or trainers who've been through some tough situation themselves.
Very interesting, Robert. Very interesting. I've never heard anyone say that, and I think that's really important and it's really interesting. So how has that served you?
Well, it serves me well, as obviously from a business perspective, but I think we only do as well as our clients feel, right? And
yes.
In touch with feel. And so for the client or for our community, you're speaking to somebody who knows what it means to feel weak, who knows what it means to have overcome something, or even if they don't have a dramatic story, they have the ability to connect and empathize with where you're at. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be seen, and everybody wants to be heard. And that's why it's not just about the physical. Look, we work people to that's what we do. But in order to be able to do that and get the most out of that individual, you've really got to be willing to listen. And sometimes when we get it wrong, you've got to be able to switch, dial in again, find out where you're at, and steer yourself to the place that help them best achieve what they're.
So speaking of, you know, this sort of emotional connection that's really important, from a fitness instructor and guide with your background, what do tips and advice from you sound like? Look, what would a client expect to hear from you? Can you do a little like role play for us right now?
Okay, so here's a few. I'm going to reflect back to you what people make fun of me for, because
no, I like that. That's what we want to hear. What is that,
So
Robert?
one of the first things everybody's going to hear from me is chest up, shoulder blades back, right? It's one of the most basic things. You can lift weights in your hair, but if your chest is up and you're breathing and in and out through your nose, your diaphragm is lifted, which creates, it helps with your posture because it creates an air vacuum within inside you, which keeps your spine straight. And in any situation, if we walk into a situation like this, right, it says something about us, right?
Yes.
If we walk
Well,
into
people forget posture, people forget breathing. It's all very important.
right. The other thing is put your brain inside your body, right? The
Oh,
reason is because you can do exercises and just do them. But there are so many micro connections that you can make during every single movement that if you're not making those connections, you're missing the beauty of the movement, you're missing the power of the movement. And so if you put your brain in your body, what that does, I won't go into, there's a whole theory called embodied cognition. What that does is it turns every single movement into a movement meditation. You're getting more out of the movement, you're shutting off your brain, so you're getting stress relief and meditation, and also you're getting more in touch with your body. So put your brain inside your body. And then the other thing is ask more of yourself, right? What can you do more? In this situation, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be, you got to run out to a meeting right afterwards.
you have a
right?
big day ahead of you. I think a lot of us get bogged down by just the sheer fact that we've got this big day with all of these components ahead of us. So how do you summon the motivation?
So in that moment, it's like, give yourself the best of yourself right now, right? It's another thing I say, give yourself the best of yourself right now in this moment. And only you can decide what the best of yourself is. But if we wake up, when we wake up, we're either, some of us are either living in the future, what I got to do today, or living in the past. What happened yesterday, what's bugging me, what's stressing me, right? Our job in that moment is to help you stay right here in the present, focused on you.
Yeah. A lot of us can work on that, need to work on that, or be, yeah.
And so it's give yourself the best of yourself, put your brain inside your body, chest up, shoulder blades back, and then
I love it.
It's always give me more.
Now, you say that you curate a high-end experience. How exactly do you do that? I would love to know what the details are that you're paying attention to in order to create that atmosphere or experience.
We've been in Soho for over 10 years, and then we moved to where we are, just up the block from you. And what I wanted was to create a fitness and wellness refuge, so the client feels like they are on a wellness retreat. What two clients who are designers, interior designers, Yetta Banks, celebrities and everybody else, and she designed the whole Viacom building, and she has a whole theory around design. I also have another client, Ildiko Shragli. She was an interior designer for many politicians in Washington. And so Ildiko helped me create the framework of the space. Yetta came in and did everything on the interior. And so first of all,
so it's aesthetically beautiful, which we love. We love an aesthetically beautiful space.
Open light space. We have a green wall as you walk in. Beautiful bathrooms. I don't know why I love the bathrooms. It's just
of course, who doesn't want a beautiful bath? Of course.
Beautiful. We had to pick these specific floorboards so that they were functional for fitness, but aesthetically beautiful. We've got a beautiful kitchen where we have chefs come in, and so the whole experience of the space is, as soon as you walk in, we want you just to breathe and let go. We do a lot with scents as well, so that as you walk in, you breathe in a certain scent, so that as you're passing through the door, that scent helps you transition from one place
Yeah, it transforms you
to another place, right?
And I think it's very true is that, you know, people can feel the love when love is put into every detail. People really can feel that, right?
Right.
What do clients most often say about working with you and your team in your studio? What's their favorite thing?
I think it's the word we keep hearing is inspirational.
Oh,
If they always say, so this is a safe space, and it's a community. And when I say community, I think people can think lots of different things. But what I mean specifically is we have most of our clientele are high-powered women, right? And there is such a feeling of mutual respect, encouragement, and positivity that for me is awesome to watch. I mean, these women are busy from all different backgrounds. We have very strong, high-performing female clientele as well, but it's everybody. They encourage each other, they lift each other up, and they make connections in the gym that end up going outside of the gym.
well, that's super unique. I've never experienced anything like that before. I mean, there are plenty of gyms and, you know, sort of fitness franchises that, you know, sort of dub themselves as a place of community. And there are very few that can actually achieve that or have actually achieved that. That's pretty special.
And let me say, if I may,
say?
one thing about that, and that is where mind, body, soul comes into play, and I can explain a little bit more about this later, but that part of that is by design. When I was in the ministry, I had one older guy full of wisdom came and he trained me, and he was like, listen, the one thing you have to show every time you're around people, you put your hand on somebody's shoulders, you look in their eyes, you are in a moment when you speak to them, right?
It's amazing how something so small goes such a long way. I believe in that too.
That discussion I have with every single one of my trainers in every single class, every single client is going to hear their name at least once or twice and be given some specific direction, right? We make it a point to really connect with every single person that walks.
What are the components of your 28-day challenge? I'm dying to talk to you about this.
Okay, so 28.
Let's get into that. That's the good stuff.
All right, let's get to it. So, it is a specific weight training protocol that is based on how we progress exercises in ballet, right? You're going to be using, right? In general weight training, you don't train the same body part back to back. You can use short movements. When you're training as a ballet dancer, you do similar movements over and over and over again so that your brain and your body begin to recognize them and adapt, right? And you're working through the full range of motion so you get those long, lean muscles, right? And so that's the first specific way we approach weight training and how we progress weight training, right? So your body is learning all the time in increments. That is your lean mass, which helps you burn body fat and also gives you more energy and focus, right? We also do interval training. Again, we're pushing you with the interval training, but it's done form and every single exercise matches what you've done with the weight training, right? So your body, again, is adapting to the similar movements. Your metabolism is boosted through the high intensity interval training, as well as the weight training. It's boosted for up to 48 hours. So your body is turned into this fat burning machine for 48 hours. You'll breathe correctly. And so they don't get enough oxygen into their lungs and into the body in the right way, getting through that breathing in their mouth, which is not as effective. We teach our clients to breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth with the tongue at the top of their mouth, right? It's very difficult at first, but once you get it.
It really is. I'm very guilty of not practicing this. It's super key, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and it also, not just for the results of the 28 days. We have the meal plan.
You're going a little in and out. Can you hear me, Robert?
People are usually training on that program 3 to 4 days a week for a 4 or a 7 week period. So either 28 calendar days or 28 workouts. And then
yes. I think that's great that there's the flexibility of being able to do it both ways, right?
Yeah, for sure. Some people
So Holly Carter, who we just spoke about, our contributing beauty editor and one of your clients, did your program The Magic. Tell me about it. I want to hear you describe The Magic to us. I think it's incredible.
Especially with what's happening right now. Like I said before, we have a large part of our clientele is powerful women of color, Black women in entertainment and media. And I've been in different rooms and talked to different, and it's for the first time for many of them that they've been able to slow down and focus on their own wellness. They felt either they didn't have a space that either welcomed them or was safe for them to express who they are, or just in the Black community, women carry so much. I was raised by a single mother with four brothers, two beautiful Black daughters. I'm married to a Black woman who has her own business. So I see the pressure that they have on them. And so when they've seen their mothers put themselves last, their aunties put themselves last. So what I want to do in The Magic is create a book that tells the wellness stories of women of color. And I didn't want it to be
meaning like an actual book.
Yes, and actually there's a book, and people can go online and look at it, and we're adding to it every year we add to it. So incredible. Yeah.
What gave you the idea to do this in book format? What made you want to kind of bind this together as a tome for people to read?
Well, two things. One, they can online, but one, I think to have something in your hand that you possess that tells your story, right, that sits on your coffee table, that's great. The photographs are beautiful.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Just fitness photographs. They're, I use my dance to place them in these beautiful poses.
Yes.
Yeah, beauty book, right? And online you can see it, the images of beauty. And so I wanted to have it in book form, people that actually hold onto it, right? And I think there's something about having something tangible that, especially with what we're talking about, the intangible feeling of, do I have time for taking care of my health? Am I selfish? Thinking it's selfish instead of self-full, which we talk about a lot. I think them having that in their hands gives another level of connection.
Yes, that's really great. So the program consists of what exactly?
It's not entirely it's not a program per se, but it's these women telling their stories of.
Oh, it's just a storytelling. It's taking part in storytelling. It's really vital.
Yeah, okay. Story. They're all women I've worked with and who've had amazing.
How many women? How many women, Robert?
We have, I think I'm writing saying 9, and we're doing more. Like Lisa Price, for example.
Yeah.
One of Carol's daughter, right?
Lisa Price of Carol's daughter, yeah.
She's been through so much physically and didn't really see herself in the fitness space, right?
Yes.
So to take someone like that, help her transform and put her in a fitness shoot is transformational for her. We have people.
Are you looking for more women to take part in this, or are you?
Absolutely. Just
okay. I think I know quite a few people that would love to be a part of it, so I will keep them in mind for you.
Yeah, and it's a great project. It's a fun project. Just when they see their pictures and didn't believe they could look like that, it's awesome.
So speaking of projects and initiatives, you work with my friend Beverly Bond, right?
Ah, yes.
DJ and founder of Black Girls Rock. She's one incredible woman. I've known her for so long. How did that collaboration come about?
Well, we're about to do something really great soon. So
you are? Well, she and I are speaking about, she and I are going to work together soon.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell me what you can tell me.
In the book The Magic, we're going to train for that 28-day challenge. I actually met her. I was invited to do a workshop in Miami for Deborah. So she ran. She was the CEO of PT, and so I did this conference every year called Leading Women Defined. 150 of the top Black women, women, entertainment, business, media. And so I did a week there, and she was there, and so we'd met there, but we really didn't connect there. And then I did a video praising Black Girls Who Rock. I went to see the show with my daughters, and
Oh,
then
it's such a great show to go to, isn't it?
um,
To where your daughter's dying. I
and my
went
mom.
to one of them. It's just such an incredible show.
And so I went to the show, and when I was at the show with my daughters and my mom, I knew the person who was writing the show was a client, the person who was organizing the show was a client, and there was like I had about 10 or 12 other clients there. So I thought I really need to connect with Beverly at some point.
100%, right? You're so connected to it already. It's so great that you're doing something, or you've done something, and you're going to be doing more with them, right?
Pandemic happened, and I was like, let me just DM Beverly. So I DM'd her. She hit me back. 28-day challenge on Black Girls Rock, and we've been talking, and we got some exciting stuff coming.
I can't wait, and we'll be sure to talk about that and make sure that our followers hear all about it, because that's a really cool collaboration.
Yeah.
How many studios have you opened? Just the current studio in Lower Manhattan? No, there was one before that.
Yeah, there was one in Soho, and I had two partners. It's more partners in, we were 3 people on the lease. They did Pilates. I did what I do with my and then that lease ended, and I opened up Brace Life Studios on my own. And so just one studio at the moment.
Just a side note, what do you love about Pilates? Because I feel like Pilates is part of it's part of a dancer's workout, isn't it? In a way, or just, why don't you just tell everybody what you love about Pilates?
One, it helps, when I told you that I strengthened my body during those.
Yeah, great.
A lot of that was Pilates and modified Pilates workout. And plus, it just strengthens your whole entire frame. And I told you about that postural.
Yeah, I'm sitting up. Yeah.
And Pilates is one of the best techniques for finding that internal strength and finding a way to be able to connect that everyday movement. Again, when I looked for people, especially to teach my classes, I wanted them to have a Pilates dance background, right? So it's just, I mean, it's a tried and true proven technique that works.
I love it. I think that it's incredible to have that as part of the whole protocol. What are the challenges of being one of the very few self-funded Black-owned boutique gyms in New York City?
That's a great question. There's a few things. One, I think, well, my experience has been that when, I guess, white people or some people who are not Black see what I'm doing online, their first question is, it's a Black business. Is it just for Black people, right? And so, not.
I mean, I don't know why anyone, I mean, it's just incredible. Well,
right. Now,
yeah.
to be fair, there are Black businesses that are focused on the needs of Black people.
Very true. That's right.
Because they have been underserved, right? And so that is fair enough. But I think that question alone prevents some people from walking through the door. I've had clients who are my clients now, and you know, but they said when they first walked through the door, I didn't know if I was going to be welcome. I didn't know if it was just for Black people. And look, we train people from across the board. We have a very diverse client.
Of course.
I think that prevents certain people from walking through the door. And, you know, the Black consumer goes to a variety of different businesses without that question, is this just a white business, right? And so I think that's one of the things that may stop people walking through the door. And it's a shame. What we do offer is something very different, and not just us, a lot of different Black businesses, but a Black gym in particular. The second thing I think has been funding.
Yes.
You know, Food Network, I've done reality shows, I've had my own infomercial.
Yes, you're a public figure. You've gained, you know, you've got a loyal clientele. You've made a name for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Why isn't the funding? Yeah. Why are you chasing the funding?
So
yeah.
go to the bank and they're still not ready to give you the funding that you need. So for me, I mean, I'm blessed in that, the way I funded was building the business. And then when it came to building building our studio, while I was building my business, my wife stay at home, take care of the kids. So I invested in her as she built her education. She's a clinical director of her own agency right now. So I invested in her as I needed more funds for my business. Her business just took off, and she was able to invest back.
That's beautiful. That's truly beautiful. I just to double back for a second, I have a question. You said, people, you've got this sort of added element of people sort of trying to identify you as a business that is serving strictly Black people. What is your stance on whether, do you feel that you need to do and say things to prove people wrong, or is your stance, I don't need to explain this to anybody?
That's a really great question. I think initially I did feel like, oh, I've got to talk about
yeah, and it might even be a knee-jerk reaction, right? Just sort of.
And I think you're absolutely right. In the early career, I did, because I felt like, oh man, I'm not going to grow if I'm not open to everybody. And
they need to know who yeah, right.
And then after a while, I thought, you know what? If that's where people are at, and I'm spinning my wheels trying to change that, look, I'm all about changing society, especially right now. As a business, I'm like, the people who are supporting me are right here. And these people are awesome. These people, I'm from what I'm doing naturally, is giving them what they need. So I'm just going to be who I am. The results speak for themselves. Speak for itself. The environment speaks for itself. And if that is what you want, you will find your way here. And that's what's happened. Have found their way.
Yeah.
I mean,
you found that, like, the tribe comes to you. It's like you find your people, right? By being who you are, but being authentic.
And like, for example, Jenna Lyons, who she was the designer.
Yes, J. Crew.
J. Crew, right?
J. Crew, creative director. Yeah.
She's just an awesome individual, and she has so many thoughts on so many different things. But people like walking through the door and seeing what we're doing, right? Well, BB Rexa, who was a client, bunch of models who are clients, and models have always come through because they want that long, lean dancer's physique.
Right, and it's part of their. It's sometimes even more important for them because that's how they they've got to maintain that's part of their routine in ways that it isn't and can't be for some other people, but.
Even our Tribeca moms, man.
Yeah. Hardcore Tribeca moms. I was inspired by a few lines in your brand philosophy, which is, we inspire our clients to see movement of the body as a spiritual release rather than a burden.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? I think that's very powerful.
All right, let's talk. I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to expand on that thought, right? Central to what we do. Everybody's heard the phrase, the body is a temple.
Yes.
Now, typically when a lot of people work out, might be joking or whatever, but they feel like it's a burden to get to their workout to do it. The body is a temple comes from ancient wisdom. You can find it in different places. When the ancients built their temples, they built it to reflect the glory of the divine or the divinity that was within inside. In the ancient Hebrew, there's a word for it called kavod, and it means the weight, the gravitas of the divine, right? And so they built the temple to reflect the spirit that was inside. Each and every single one of us has a kavod, has a spirit, has a center of gravity and a weight of gravity that gives back to the world, right? And so what we want to do is help you see your workouts and you building your body as a way to reflect the glory of the spirit that is within you. And so if you look at it from that way, there are goodness within every individual. There's a giving spirit within every individual. There's a greatness and potential within every individual. And if you look at the way you approach your work to reflect the glory of God, transports all of this goodness and greatness and giving around, then you're going to have a different approach to how you move your body. It's not going to be a burden, but it's going to be a spiritual release and a spiritual elevation, because your body is reflecting the greatness of what's inside of you. And so that's how we move from you just working out to understand.
It's a mental shift.
Yeah, it's a whole mental shift, but you live in your body wherever you are. Your body is your vehicle for life, your success, your relationships, everything is experienced through your body. And so it's not that you have to work out, we get to work out. It's a privilege to work on a temple that is elevating the spirit within you. So that's how we see that.
That's a really wonderful thing to think about. Robert, how does the this mind, body, soul connection that's so core to your brand help to heal racial and cultural divides?
Another great question. I think when you're being, and let me take a step back. Mind, body, spirit, how do they connect? If you think spiritual or soul qualities, joy, peace, calm, a sense of control over your body, a sense of connection and love, right? These are things, spiritual qualities. The thing that happens when you move your body, your serotonin count goes up, you feel more joy. You move your body, your endorphins go up, you feel more peace and more calm. And exercise increases the prioritizing function of the brain. You have more control. If you work out with intensity, your body produces a compound called endocannabinoids, which is the same root ingredient as cannabis. So your body is called a bliss hormone. Your body produces all of these spiritual joy, calm, peace, bliss, all of those things. Now, as you're working out and as you get in touch with your mind, body, soul connection, you are more mindful going on with inside you. You are more mindful of the same things that you're looking for in life. The person sitting across from you is looking for in life. There is more of a patience and more of an understanding of others once you're actively engaged in that mind-body connection, which helps you then begin to be more mindful of how we interact with each other, how we speak to each other. You begin to be more
in tune.
And in tune.
Present.
And more, it's been shown to improve your emotional intelligence as well.
Yes.
You're working on these things in yourself and it spills over into how we connect with. And then you're in a room with other people who are all working on the same thing and living from the same ethos. Then it's going to help you connect day to day, mind to mind, body to body, interaction to interaction level, which will help us, I believe, get closer, build more unity, have a certain amount of understanding. And it's certainly what I see in the studio with the way women from all.
You actually are watching this happen in real time.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, I believe that too. And you see it every day in your studio. You've also said, Robert, that it's important for high-end white consumers to support high-end Black-owned businesses. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Okay, I think that applies to everything, but specifically in the high-end category. On the first point is that you miss out on so much when you're not experiencing these different services and experiences that Black businesses are producing that are.
Yeah.
And at the same time, what it does is in the luxury category, it means there's less competition. And the message that Black businesses, brown businesses don't fit into the category, right? Now, when you think about other parts of Black culture, Black music, what would culture be like without Prince? What would culture be like without Beyonce? What would culture be like without the blues? What would rock and roll be like without the blues? It's made everything, Black art, Black culture, everything better, right? And so we need to take that same mindset and attitude into Black business, right? And if you're only purchasing products from people that look and sound like you, right?
Yep.
There's no democratization in the luxury category. It's just a that looks like you.
Right. It's about democratizing the luxury category.
And the thing is, if you do, and you have to be,
And more.
if you do seek out these high-end products that resonate with you, and you embrace those brands, it increases competition, it increases the level of production and creativity amongst the whole category, and that will give more to everybody in the end. Because when you think about it, what luxury brand do, or even Black businesses, do people know that aren't owned by Black celebrities? So Black business that's not owned by Rihanna or whoever else, right? It's
Yep.
And so I asked my 16-year-old daughter, who knows pretty much everything, right? And she couldn't think. So I think it takes taking a step back and really understanding I'm truly missing out on something here. And let me be purposeful about finding these businesses that resonate with me. Because if Black lives matter, then the whole thing, right, matters. And so I think it's really opening your mind up to these brands and people who are doing great things. You've got Chef JJ, who was at the Chef's Club in Soho.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Or
It's a great place. Yeah.
he sold more than they'd seen.
And everyone, yeah.
Right, and now he's got this awesome restaurant up in Harlem. You have Honey Pot, who
I love Honey Pot.
high-end brand, but who's bringing something to the table. You've got Daily Paper. You've got all of these brands who've put thought, detail, money, and time into their brands. And I think that once that begins to happen, everybody's game improves. The level of experiences go up, and I think we're better for it.
Really well said. I completely agree. So was it at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, just to switch gears for a second, that you began your private Instagram live group? Was that sort of how that came to be?
That's how it came to be. What's funny is we opened a new gym last year. We were working with a marketing company from September really all the way. Our big launch was supposed to be in March for the spring. And
painful, but
so we'll bounce back. But yeah, that's when it started because people still wanted that connection. They wanted
of course
in the studio. Where could they find it online? And so that's
yeah.
started.
You've also said, and I love this, that through the group, and you sort of touched on this earlier, but let's talk more about it. You've built an incredible community and safe space of inclusivity for people of all races and backgrounds to work on their wellness together, which is so beautiful, always, and particularly right now. What are you experiencing specifically in the group in that way? And is there anything that you can share of a story that might, that you might want people to know about?
Right. There's a few of them. I mean, I think one, the format is we do classes, but there's always a spiritual thought and meditation and affirmation. And I have one client, she's a white client who's had many injuries in many different situations. And to be quite honest, she's just become a great white ally. She's going through her own moment of realization, but she is really doing the work. And see her being encouraged by the group, connecting with the group, and what she said to me, what she texted me rather, was that this is a place of refuge for her. And when everything else, when it seems like people are at each throats and not understanding each other, she's in this group with a diverse group of women who are understanding who she is, embracing her as she's working through it as well and trying to do her best to become a better person. Those kind of things, like that makes it worth getting up in the morning and doing the class, just that. And
right.
On the other hand, I have one client she's prominent, she's well known, and she's in the group, and she said that she has a husband and she has sons, and she texted me and she said she's been waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because of everything that's going on.
Yeah, it's been hard to sleep, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah. And so she says, you know, she has all these different emotions, but being able to work it out in the workout, because we're always giving positive reinforcement as we're talking, and then the meditations, affirmations, and that sense of community coming together.
It's like a respite in her day, right?
And that is what that's what we give to people. And then the comments back and forth are really funny, and people are.
That's nice. So how can people sign up for the group, and how does it work? Can you tell us more about those details that you're kind of mentioning right now?
Sure. The easiest way to do it is to go to @Robert on Instagram, @RobertBrace, and you'll just click private IG live group, and it will.
It's such a smart way to do things. It's like set it up on social media, but make it private so that it maintains that community atmosphere and vibe. And
and people are already there. So if they go to @RobertBrace, click on the link in the bio link tree, you'll see it. It's right there. And if not, go to the to bracelifestudios.com, and you will click on the 28 challenge. You've got a couple of options right there.
Perfect.
Ways to my Instagram page.
Perfect. And aside from things like your private Instagram group and the access really that people are getting online and on social media based fitness apps and, you know, Instagram accounts while staying safe from COVID-19, can you share any other advice for a good fitness and nutrition combo to practice during the pandemic? What are your sort of words? What's the 1-2 punch of fitness and nutrition right now for people whose routines and lives have changed a little bit?
Okay. I'll give you one for general and one for like pushing, right? So in general, what's happening right now is people are sitting a lot more because we're working at our desks and we're not walking as much. You know that sitting has been called a sitting disease, your metabolism. So make sure, pay attention to your steps. It seems like such a simple thing to do, but go for walks every 35 minutes.
That's really smart, and it's very doable, right? If you have some way to track your steps, you'll know if you're getting the right activity or not. It can be just as simple as that, right, Robert?
Is that, and then look, this is my struggle, right? Shop for stuff that you know is healthy and is not going to cause you so much temptation.
Yeah, like don't even put it in the basket.
Don't
put it in the cart.
Don't do it because, you know, there's so much going on. We're stressed. There's a lot to be thinking about. And so when we're stressed, we're looking for escape and freedom. And the next thing we're doing is eating that thing or overeating the thing that we know is less than healthy, right? So do yourself a favor. And then, listen, at the same time, don't beat yourself up and get all guilted out about it, right? This is a pandemic. We have never been in this situation before.
No.
We have never been through this racial awakening before. And cut yourself some slack. But when you go shopping and stuff that you eat at home, living as healthy as possible. And then just do intervals. Like find 20, you got 4-minute intervals, Tabatas. You push as hard as you can, punching, running on the spot, jump jacks for 20 seconds, rest for 10 seconds, do 8 times, that's 4 minutes. That'll keep your metabolism boosted and help you still maintain your weight.
Is there any plan for Brace Studio right now, or are things just sort of indefinitely on hold?
Well,
the actual physical space.
The physical space, according to the city, we should be able to open either on July 15th.
Lovely. I love that.
But what
note to self
is we're already starting to order all of the stuff. We're redoing the space so that there's markers for social distancing. And
well, that's what I was going to ask you. What measures are you taking to sort of adapt to the new normal?
Well, in terms of sanitizing, we're going to get a professional company to come in and sanitize the space. And then what we've already done is been in the studio, different stations that have your weights, your mat, your foam roller, your kettlebells, and each station has everything you need for your workout, but they're spaced more than 6 feet apart, right?
Yeah, that works.
Workout area. And then the thing that we're going to play around with, we're going to use the social distancing markers because we have a personal training side to our space and a class size to our space. On the class side, we're going to use the personal training to actually create a creative workout, embracing the social distancing. So you're going to be using these 6-foot squares to do your workout.
That's so creative. That's so smart.
You're remaining, but we're using the framework that we've been given. And then everybody's going to be wearing masks. We'll be taking, temperatures.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
Good stuff. Okay, as we close out, I think it would be really just a total gift to everyone to receive some last words of advice and thoughts from you. Someone who has such a gift for uplifting and connecting with people now more than ever, particularly in the US. People are looking for both physical and emotional strength, wellness, and healing. What do you say, Robert?
First of all, I say lean into what you feel. There are no right or wrong feelings. Fully accept them and embrace them and allow yourself to feel them fully. And once you've felt them fully, then you've got to find out what works for you, whether it's talking to somebody, whether it's therapy, whether it's working out, whether it's being moved to action. Do whatever it is that resonates with your soul. The second thing is, listen, we talked about this a little bit today. Within every single person that is listening today, I'm guessing that there is somebody who's been at the receiving end of your kindness and who is grateful for you right now. Right?
That's lovely.
Goodness in you. And the world right now needs to see your goodness. I'm guessing you've got some kind of talent, something that you do better than anybody else. The world right now needs to see that greatness that is within you. Right now, we need to give to each other. We need to support each other, be there for each other. And you've got what it takes because there is a giving spirit within you. That goodness, that greatness, giving spirit needs to shine. That's why you need to take care of your mental health. That's why you need to take care of the soul that is within you. That is why you need to take care of your physical health, because of the goodness, the greatness, the giving spirit within you. We all need to see it, and that is what's going to elevate us all. So,
on that note, it's a wrap. It's been a pleasure, Robert.
Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it.